Good evening. Reality is in full effect. So, as recent turn of events, everyone knows that Eric Garner's police officer, the guy who died as a result of a chokehold, and you can continually hear him saying he can't breathe, died. And the police officer in New York was released and not indicted on the charges of murdering Eric Garner. Not too long ago, we was at the same stage, same scene, different state, and same scenario with Michael Brown. Now I'm on the internet and I see that the guy who actually filmed Eric Garner's situation with the New York Police Department was indicted um, for possession of a weapon. And as I read the article, it goes on to say that they planted the weapon on him allegedly, and that the police officer said, "That's karma, bitch." Now, this is supposed to be the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I really can't tell. People are upset that Ferguson was torn up, vandalized, cars flipped over, buildings burned. Um, and they look up on it, like there are better ways that you could have handled it. And I agree, there are always better ways to handle it. But when you constantly pile on the same scenarios over and over and over again, it is like taking a 2-liter pop with the cap still on it and shaking it up. And when you release the cap, guess what's going to happen? Everything is going to immediately start bubbling over. So now, because the judicial system have ignored the rights of others, you have created a problem, a serious problem. And for you to ignore it while it's been happening a long time is crazy. And you think it's going away. So we go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to slave days when they was hanging us on the trees and they was burning down buildings and they was beating where you would not be recognized. So that was okay. So is that what we saying now in the United States, America? That's okay. So now the cars that says serve and protect has a new motto. They serve themselves and they protect themselves when they do something that's illegally, and they justify it with a smile as being okay to do. And people say we should not make it a color thing, and it should not be a color thing. But what keeps happening over and over makes it be a color thing, because it's only happened to the black boys and the black men. So evidently, it's a color thing. It's a white person against a black person. Now, if it was flipped around, and it was a white person that a black cop put in a chokehold and he fell and said he couldn't breathe, somebody filmed him, oh, the world would come to an end and he would have to be locked up. He would have to go to jail. It would not be an if and but about it. You would not take that long to make that decision. But since it's flipped over and it's a black person with a white cop, it's okay. It's like putting on your coat and putting on your shoes and going to a party to kill the black people. What kind of crap is that? Now, I tweeted last night, and this young lady who's white, she said to me that we are upset too. And I said to her, I'm sure there's quite a few of you that are upset. But the difference is you are not the race that is being targeted. So you really don't understand the magnitude of the anger, the frustration, the irritation, and the aggravation of dealing with this situation. Not at all. So unless you stand in those shoes, you can see from the outside, but you're not standing on this side of the street, so you have no clue what it's like. So let me break it down. This would be like if somebody come into your house, your children are in the kitchen, who you love dearly, and you're just innocent bystanders, and they just pull out their gun and they start to shoot it. How would you feel? How would you react? Now, emotions are funny, especially when it's happening to you, and especially when you get tired of a system that's supposedly be fair and balanced, and it's not fair and balanced. Not at all. It is a sick system. It's been sick and broken for a long time. And this crap needs to stop. Because if somebody don't stop this, I'm afraid what's going to happen. Now, I understand by having conversations today that a couple of Ferguson police officers have been shot. But nobody been telling that story because, as I was told, allegedly, they shot first and then they retaliate and they're shooting back. So you're losing your respect, police officer. You're losing your trust. There is no longer faith in the judicial system that makes it fair because it's not fair. It's unbalanced. So it depends on the color of your skin, which will determine the outcome of the situation. You arrest people for beating a dog and throw them in jail for 20 years, but you won't indict a police officer, and you clearly see on the video that this man is not, pushing back. He's just talking. Then you knock him down, put him in chokehold, and you hear him say he can't breathe, and you just don't give a damn. You let him die like a dog on the street. And we should not be okay with this because right is right and wrong is wrong. But when do we stand up for what's right? And when do we call out what's right? Now, I don't say fighting is the answer, but if you bother my child, I'm coming out with my fist to fight. And did you realize how are you affecting these families? Children who they saw their daddy that day will never see him again for foolishness. How do you explain that? How do you draw back the hate? How do you draw back the anger for this nonsense? Nobody took the time to think about that. They didn't. And for these juries to make these decisions on somebody's life, are you scared to make the call that you should have made? Because whether you realize it or not, like the police officer told to the guy who they locked up and indicted him, who planted the gun on him, that karma's a bitch. It's going to be a bitch for you too when you do things to somebody and it's not right to do. You're stealing people's lives, and we are on the open block for killing black people. That's pretty much what it is to me. Now, I see a lot of sit-ins. I see a lot of protesting. But let me tell you something. We need to continue to protest. We don't need to sweep this up under the rug. We need to continue to protest. We need to pull back our shopping. And we need to raise our voice and make it heard. We need to band together like we never band together before, because this bull crap is ridiculous. I am sick of looking at the internet. I am sick of looking at TV. And I am sick of hearing conversations about this. And it's going from one state to the next. It was Trayvon Martin killed by a neighborhood watch person. He got off. He wasn't a cop, but he was a neighborhood watch person. So you justified that. You killed the 12-year-old boy in the playground in Cleveland. Nothing has been done. You killed Michael Brown. Now you done killed Eric Garner. And the cycle just continues to churn over and over again. And what pisses me off, when y'all do the damn Dumpty Dum, you always want to make the black person the bad person. Everybody on this earth even your upstanding police officer that they pretend to be, has a history and a record for doing some foolishness. But this bull crap